And so this is actually a good opportunity. I was going to do this after I introduce, but if it's okay with everybody, I would like to invite you to invite your spirit teams, your guides, your loved ones, your ancestors in to join you today in this sacred space, and to ensure that you download the codes that you most need at this time to keep you protected and safe, wrapped in love always. Thank you. So, as we begin, now, most of you already know me, but for those who don't, I'm Priestess Alessandra Raven Moon. I'm your host, and this is Raven Moon Academy's workshop of Auric Armour. Now, before I continue, I'm actually going to make sure my audio settings are okay. Yep. Is that better? Am I a little bit louder now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes,
Sorry, my phone. I didn't turn my computer on.
no, my audio settings, my microphone turns itself down automatically, and Dee usually reminds me that. Anyway, all right. So before we begin, I would like for everyone to set an intention for today. What would you like to achieve by being here? Have a think, type it in the comments. It's general, like, I just want to download the codes that I most need at this time. I want to learn what's going to help me most with my protection, my spiritual hygiene, or is it something more specific, like I would like to learn a technique to protect me against XYZ. I'll even just be that you want to connect with the people who are here and just be in sacred space with all these beautiful women. It says to protect myself, from disrespect and to honor my worth. Beautiful. Harney says, I'm just open to spirit, allowing me to receive whatever I need to know for my highest good. Amazing. All right, and while the rest of you write that in, I'll just tell you a tiny little bit about me. So, as I've said, I'm Priestess Raven Moon. I'm a priestess of Diana and High Priestess of Raven Moon Academy. And I honestly have more qualifications than any human needs to have. Kind of ridiculous. But it's through all of these that I have put together my own modality, I suppose you could call it, called the Ravens method. And this is what I use to help people to overcome hardships, empower themselves, and incorporate magic, witchcraft, psychic development into every aspect of their lives in order to create transformation and just really take charge of their lives. So it's very much about empowerment of the self and gaining power over yourself, not over others. However, we do want to be in charge of our own reality to a point where possible, right? So I myself have survived some horrific trauma and abuse. I've overcome heavy addictions myself, which we have been talking about with a few of you already. I've overcome and healed myself from various ailments, mental illnesses, physical ailments, including cervical cancer. And I have my spiritual path and witchcraft to thank for that. And anyone who does want to know more about my personal story, I've co-authored a best-selling book, which is available on Amazon, called Permission to Thrive. And I've also articles written in various magazines as well. So I will read the rest of these and we will get going. So, oops, we have Rose, I want to protect. Lisa Allen, sovereignty and uplifting from joy. I'm sorry, oh, no worries, that's fine, Lisa. Andrea says, I'd like to connect with my light family. I would also like to protect myself in light, going forward in love's light. Amazing. That is beautiful. Joe says, I would like to learn how to clear areas, particularly my home, from negative entities and energy, put up shields to keep our space clear and high vibe. Gorgeous. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone. So our agenda today, now I said 45 minutes. It's going to be more like an hour. If you have to go early, that is okay. I completely understand. I did go through everything I planned to teach you yesterday, timed it, and it was almost 3.5 hours. So I've had to cut it right down. So I will fit in as much as I can into this time, but of course, there's only so much I can give in this hour. I'd love to give you everything, but if you do want more, I do have a 6-week program coming up, and that is juicy, juicy, juicy. But for today, we have 3 pillars, I suppose you could call them. The first one, introduction to spiritual hygiene and self-defense. Our second, clearing and protection, where I will give you some techniques that you can use. I will give you a few exercises. I'll take you through them. And then pillar 3, we will touch on cord cutting. Then if it's okay with you, I will share a little bit about the next steps that you can take if you do want to continue to learn with Raven Moon Academy and discover how to protect yourself on a much, much deeper level. And finally, some Q&A time. So stick around, make the most of that, because this is where you can get some direct feedback and one-on-one coaching. So I'd like to ask you a few questions. Now, put in the chat either a 1, 2, 3, or 4. 1 being the lowest, 4 being the highest. First of all, how familiar are you with the concept of spiritual hygiene? So 1 being not at all, 4 being onto it, practicing every day, got it down. So you got a 4, a 2, a 2, a 2. Excellent. 2. All right. Beautiful. Thank you. 2 to 3 from Leanne, 2 from Rose. Excellent. All right. So most of us are around 2 to 3. That's excellent. That means that there's room to grow and you're going to get something out of this. Fantastic. All right. Next question. Have you ever felt, or do you believe that you have felt affected by harmful energies or psychic attacks? Again, 1, never. 4, yes, definitely. 4, 4, 4, 3, 4, 4. Wow. Yeah, it's more common than people like to make out, isn't it? I think we've all been there. And it's not nice. Thank you. Now, do you currently have any practices in spiritual hygiene or self-defense? Again, 1, not at all. 2, no, but I want to start. 3, yes, sometimes, but not regular. Or 4, yes, I have a routine. So we have 1, 2, 2 to 3, 2 to 3, 4, beautiful, good job. 2 to 3, awesome, cool. So most of you do have something that you can do, right? Even if it's just a crystal. 3 to 4. Thanks, Dee. Awesome. Now, this one kind of goes without saying, because most of you put a 4 for yes, you have experienced harmful energy. But how real do you believe psychic attacks and curses are? So again, 1, don't believe. 4, you know they're a thing. Yep. 4. 4, 4, 4. Yep. Beautiful. All right, 2 last ones. Now, this one is sort of more to help me for now and for future offerings that I give to you. What format do you prefer for learning this kind of thing? So 1 being practical exercises, 2, theoretical knowledge, 3, through personal stories and experiences, 4, group discussions and sharing, or 5, a mixture of all of these. Yeah, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. All right, 5. Beautiful. All right, 2 and 4. Thank you, Joe. 5 with emphasis on 3. Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. Excellent. All right, and last one. What is your main goal in learning about spiritual self-defense? We've sort of already covered this, but out of 1 being personal empowerment, 2, protection from harmful energies, 3, curiosity, 4, professional development, 5, other, just let me know, type it in. 1, 2, 4, beautiful. 1 and 4, yep, excellent. 4, beautiful. I love it. Great. Awesome. That's really good. Thank you all so much for sharing this with me. I really, really appreciate it. Now, so let's get into it. So when it comes to active self-defense, it does not necessarily mean combative, like we're going in, we're going to fight, we're going to take them all out, right? It usually by just keeping on top of our own personal hygiene, our own inner work, well-being, our boundaries, any kind of harmful energies, low-level attacks are pretty much going to roll straight off us. However, there are times when we need more. Now, first, I'm sure that you've heard, been told, or read in a book somewhere that psychic attacks and curses are so rare and you don't really need to worry about them. But as you have all experienced yourself, this is bullshit. They are way more common than people realize. And the majority of these attacks are not done by witches, and they're not intentional. You can curse someone just by having like strong emotion, anger, hatred, and wishing them harm. That's going to throw a curse at them. We can also curse ourselves the same way, through that repetitive self-talk, putting ourselves down. And Colin says, if you're clairsentient, oh, why do I keep losing my messages? Here we go. If you're clairsentient, you're going to feel that attack deeply. Yeah, exactly. Right? So it's so important that we, especially as witches, as sensitives, empaths, really keep on top of our self-talk and what we say. Words are spells, right? So when we begin our spiritual journey and start to practice all of these things that increase our psychic and magical abilities and just up-level us spiritually, we are basically setting off a flare in the spirit world. And so all these curious beings, some sentient, some not, want to come and check out the new kid. They want to see what's going on, you know, like we're putting a spotlight on ourselves. So all these curious beings are going to be attracted like a moth to a flame. And that means there's a really, really good chance that you're going to end up with a bunch of creatures, some parasitic entities, and possibly even less than friendly spirits, sentient spirits, hanging around, feeding off your energy and causing. Often you're not even going to notice this until it gets really, really bad, but it's definitely not something you want. So besides the possibility of entities and little nasties, the buildup of energetic grime is also something that we really have to be aware of. So what the F is spiritual hygiene? Before I go on any further, I do swear quite a lot. I'm trying not to, but please forgive me if I drop a few F-bombs. It's almost guaranteed. Okay, is everyone okay if I drop the occasional F-bomb? All right, cool. I will try not to, but yeah, it's Australian culture, he says. Right, Lisa? Oh, I love you. All right, so as we look after and keep our physical bodies clean, we also need to do the same for our spiritual bodies. And yes, I said bodies, plural, because we have more than one, and I will get to that in just a moment. But we prevent harmful viruses, bacteria, and the like from entering our body and accumulating that, and then, making us sick, affecting us in bad ways. We eat good food, we drink clean water, we exercise, we do all the things to keep our physical bodies healthy on the inside. And we shower, we wear, sunscreen, clothes, we put gloves on when we're handling toxic things, glasses, goggles to protect our eyes, even condoms to protect us from STIs, right? And our spiritual bodies need that same level of protection on an energetic level. So just imagine for a moment what it would be like for you to go out, a spiritual condom, yes. Imagine going out about your daily business every single day without ever showering, never washing your hands, never removing your makeup or hair stuff, not brushing your teeth, handling dirty, toxic things without gloves, walking around on dirty surfaces with broken glass and God knows what, being out in the sun without any kind of hats or sunscreen or protection, even like insect repellents in certain areas. So you're going to get bitten everywhere. Imagine this for days, weeks, months, years, decades. Ugh. Just, could you imagine the state of your physical body? You would be filthy. You would absolutely reek. You would be sick. You would be full of infection, and you'd just feel like absolute shit, right? But that is exactly what most people are doing when it comes to spiritual bodies and our energy. They're going about this with their lack of spiritual hygiene their whole lives, and then wonder why their life isn't just in the shit pit. So they're not protecting, not cleansing, not taking care of it, and they're accumulating all this energetic filth and barbs and infections, like spiritual infections and harmful, dirty, grimy, filthy things, even parasitic entities. And that neglect really, really, really takes its toll on your spiritual body, your energy body. And it will affect your physical body and your mind as well as your reality. You're going to feel foggy and scattered, agitated and anxious. You will struggle to focus, feel lethargic. It will affect your emotions, your moods, your physical health, your libido. a whole range of things, your digestion of food, weight gain, weight loss, as well as some massive illnesses. And that can go back and forward through our bloodlines and our spiritual connections, right? And we'll talk about that when we get into energy strands and cords. But it's going to affect you in a more subtle way as well, in an energetic way. So it's going to cause you to self-sabotage and attract shit people and shit things into your life over and over and over again. And you're going to be repelling all of the positive things, all of the things that you want. Money, love, abundance, friendship, whatever it is. All right. So it all accumulates, and then we end up with what people refer to as chronic bad luck. And as I mentioned, many illnesses start or are activated by these energetic infections. Illnesses linked to stress, such as autoimmune diseases, cancers, organ failures, mental illness, especially mental illness, generally have an energetic and emotional root cause. It can start through trauma, and that trauma causes energetic and spiritual trauma, and it accumulates and it just gets worse and worse and worse, right? And because when we're not looking after our spiritual hygiene, it, affects everything, then we're unable to cope with stresses and triggers, whether it's big or large, whatever life throws at us, we just can't cope. And so we end up in a feedback loop of negativity and just get sicker and sicker, and our physical body breaks down, right? So I will go through some of the specific symptoms of attack, but before I do that, are there any questions or comments from anybody before I go on? We good? All righty. And hi, Jason. I figured it was you. Well, thank you, Lisa. Okay, so this list is, excuse me, I just blow my nose, quite extensive. I won't go through all of it. I will just touch on a few things, and this is not complete either. I can share this with you all so you have a copy, and you can feel free to add to it, because honestly, this list goes on and on. But also remember, just because you do have a lot of the things on these lists, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have been under attack. We must always use discernment and look at what's going on. Often it comes from within, many things happen because of us and our own choices. But again, comes down to that feedback loop. Anyhow, all right, so some of the symptoms: being out of touch with time. And I know that time is something that Lisa Allen specializes in. So, just never being on time. No matter what you do, you're always just running late, or you're just too early, or it just nothing, it doesn't add up. Now, this is something that I have naturally, a bit of time blindness. I call it pagan standard time is what I run on. But this can be a symptom of being cursed. Feeling like you're being watched by something icky. Like, that feeling of being watched, but it just feels wrong. No matter where you are, what you're doing, you can just feel it there, all right? Heaviness and pressure, squeezing around your head, or waking up and feeling like something sitting on your chest, or even just through waking consciousness, struggling to breathe, feeling that pressure, okay? Seeing or hearing scary things. Now, yes, this could be psychological, or maybe what is diagnosed as psychological could be energetic. It could be either, right? But if you're hearing things that are unpleasant, that are scary, telling you to do bad things, right? You're seeing things out of the corner of your eye, whether it be in nightmares, repetitive nightmares of something really scary that is not a facsimile of your own fears or things that you've been going through in your waking life, just keep showing up in your dreams, and you just know that there's something more to this, right? Yeah, exactly, D. Yes, it can also be physiological. So yeah, hearing those voices, that like malevolent voices. Obviously, anybody who is connected, we hear voices, but you know the difference between your guides, your angels, deities, your higher self, and something that wishes you harm. This could be an entity, or it could be someone doing something, getting into your head to manipulate you. Again, vivid, reoccurring nightmares, pain, phantom pains, like feeling like a pain over here. Like I have gotten this a few times when I've been attacked. I get this pain. It sort of feels like it's in my shoulder, but it's out here. It's not actually on my physical body. It's like I have a phantom limb, but I can feel it, right? As well as pain in the body. Again, often headaches, stabbing pain. Like if you get a really strong pain in your third eye or really any of your energy centers, this can be an attack. It can be someone sending a barb or a cord out to connect with you in order to feed off your energy or affect you in some way. Okay? Feel into it. Were you going to say something, Carney?
Just going to say the one time that was a really intense psychic attack for me, I literally felt it like a punch to the stomach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, and I've never been punched before, but it was like someone had punched me in the guts.
Can I say something?
Yep.
Okay, I've been experiencing those same pains. They are actually doubling me over, and it feels like I can actually feel something moving inside me. It's extremely painful. And it just started maybe about a month ago.
Right. Okay. And so you've like ruled out any kind of physical sort of ailments?
There's nothing
Right.
physically.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll definitely look into that and look at removing that through some of the techniques you learned today, or speak with me afterwards. It's horrible. Anyone who's experienced it, it's awful. It really is.
I haven't had the stabbing pains, but I've had vertigo since the 26th of April.
Yeah, see, I'm suspicious of that from what you've told me as well. Like it's, it could be a physical thing, but I don't know.
I don't think it is a physical thing. It's heavier some days than other. So I wonder if what I think could be related to it could be connected to a spiritual attack because of the way it's delivered.
Yeah. If your intuition is telling you that, I would listen to it and explore further. For sure.
Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Awful. You've been dealing with that for so long. It's horrible. And it takes over your life, doesn't it? Yeah. It's terrible. So yeah, draining of the energy, especially like when it's a longer term attack, it will be a slow and steady drain, constant, but it's too quick for you to be able to recharge. You can't recharge, but you just feel you're getting worse and worse and worse. Sometimes, especially if you're in the presence of the person, it can be a lot faster. It can just be a vroom. you know, and we've probably all experienced that around a particular person. But when it's a long term through a cord, it's just this constant drain, and it really does affect your life. It affects everything, your personal life. Like, you can't think, you get sick, you don't know what's going on. It is just awful. Losing things, not just forgetfulness, but losing things all the time, especially important things. Hi, Kerry, great to see you. Now, sometimes we have little creatures who like to play games and hide things. That is a bit different, okay? And often you can work with them, give them an offering, you know, talk to them, ask them to return your things. Yes, exactly. But when it's just constantly losing things to the point where it's causing you problems in your life, you know, like losing paperwork that you need to get in and done in order to stay in the country, but it just completely disappears, and no matter what you do, you can't, like big things like this, right? That is often attack. Anything that fucks with your life, basically. Unexpected illness, especially suddenly becoming extremely accident prone, a long chain of bad luck, you know, like, as I said, there are so many things. One last one I'll touch on before I move on is a change to your personal hygiene and appearance. Like, for some reason, you just feel like you just can't make yourself go and shower and look after yourself, brush your hair, change your clothes. Yeah, that's right. Like, just apathy. Like, you don't care, or you feel like you have to hide. Like, constantly having to change your hair. Like, I one time felt like I had to shave my head. Now, my hair is everything to me. Like, I love my hair, but I felt like I had to shave my head. Like, it wasn't me, you know. So if you feel compelled to do things, question it. Is there something more going on here? And I will teach you a simple way to feel into whether it is external or whether it is something within you. All right. Have any of you experienced any of these? I know we have had a few shares, but have you experienced one or more of these? You can just raise your hand. Yep. 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 Yeah. Yes. Awesome. Yeah, definitely. All right. Are there any questions? Not so much these days. That's so good, Carney. I'm glad. But you are really on top of your work, your inner work, as well as your spiritual work. Like, Carney, I have to say, is one of my star students, Carney and Dee. And yeah, Carney's just really on top of it. So it's just a testament to the difference that it does make. I am much better too. I really have been there. Yeah, I think we all have, and sometimes it takes being there to give us a kick up the arse to do something about it, because we don't want to go there again. All right, are there any questions before I move on? Was that a yes, Lisa, or? Yep. Okay. All right. So I'm going to draw a little diagram. I hope that you can see this. I might move this for a little bit, but as I mentioned, we're made up of more than one body. All right. Now, for the sake of time and simplicity, I'm just going to to do 5. But each of these 5 layers are broken down into other layers, and different teachings and traditions have different names and categories. So do your own research if this doesn't resonate with you, and work with what works for you. But this is what works for me. Hopefully you can see this all right. So hopefully this is my amazing artwork. I am, as you can see, I am top artist, right? All right, so the 5 art, this is the physical, right? This is you, this is your beautiful portrait. Then right next to the physical, I'll use a different color. We have the etheric, okay? Then next, might run out of room here, the emotional, the mental, and finally, the spiritual. All right, where's my lid gone? There it is. So the reason this is important to know is because each layer has its own kind of debris and ways that are best to clear it. So we're going to start with the physical and the etheric. I'm going to do them together because the etheric is like, it's like a sheath around the physical body, right? It's sort of, they're almost connected, right? Now, things like drinking clean water and eating good food, like raw foods especially, cleansing baths and showers and smoke baths, also known as smudging, are really good ways to take care and cleanse the physical and the etheric body, all right? So to use smoke baths, I don't like to use the word smudging, but it's really popular to use white sage or Palo Santo. But these are sacred and endangered. So if you can use something else, I do recommend it. There are other herbs that are just as, if not more effective for this. If you need to use these particular herbs, sure, go for it, but there are alternatives, okay? Now, I like to use rosemary and lavender. Remember that Lisa says redwood and California laurel, beautiful. And so they're native, like local to where you are as well, are they, Lisa? Yeah. See, and that's a really good point too. Using plants and herbs that grow naturally in your local area is all the better because it's connecting you to the land as well, you know. And really, when it comes to magic and witchcraft, that is a big part of it. I mean, I'm a more shamanic witch, so that is a big part of my practice. And sagebrush as well, yeah. But reduce those. We got, what do we got here? Yeah, sagebrush, and they're free. I just have to go for exactly right. Rose says she makes her own candle. Yeah, perfect. And some of the other are cedar, sweetgrass, lavender, rosemary, eucalyptus, pine, mugwort, sweet fern, and like resins like frankincense and myrrh. And remember, like as Lisa said, is like regular sage. It doesn't have to be white sage, okay? Now, it's often easier to just use a bundle of herbs for this purpose, often called a smudge stick in Indigenous cultures. But if you're going to be cleansing your body as well as your space or using it for ritual, I definitely recommend making your own incense blend and burning it on a charcoal disc. It will last longer, it will give you a lot of smoke, and yeah, you can customize it to exactly what you want, right? Now, one of the most important keys when doing this that is often left out, sorry, I'm rolling over my skirt. I don't want to rip my dress off and give you all that kind of show. Anyhow, but yeah, one of the most important keys that's often left out is consecrating these herbs. It is imperative to bless, consecrate, charge your herbs. Charge them for the purpose of clearing, cleansing your energy or your space of anything harmful, all right? And as you're performing the ritual, you're going to be using your clairs, you're going to be visualizing, speaking the words, feeling it, just clearing away all of that unhelpful energy. Now, without these steps, you might as well just be burning a piece of toilet paper and waving it around because it's not going to do shit, okay? It's just going to be burning stuff. That's it. Despite what many fluffy bunny insta witches like to preach, intention is not everything. Not even close, and it's rather offensive to say that it is. It is one of the components of successful magic. It's not everything, okay? Please remember that. So, to consecrate or charge it, you're just basically going to be holding it and speaking to it. Some people like to knock on it if it's like something a bit solid, and just ask, just say, I awaken you to your power, rosemary, eucalyptus, and ask that you cleanse my physical and spiritual self of all impurities and harmful energies or whatever, right? And ask it to neutralize them. And then visualize it being activated. However you can best connect with that, do so, but keep it simple because you want to be able to put your all into it. You don't want to have to be overthinking and, oh, am I doing it right? Am I saying it right? Right? Trust and go with it. Keep it simple and powerful. Very important. Now, obviously, in my bigger courses and in my 6-week course, I go much deeper into that and I teach you how to channel the energy and use the energies of the divine and the earth as well as with your own essence and put it into your tools, your herbs, whatever you're using without draining your own life force. That's another important thing. You do not want to be doing that, okay? But obviously, time, I can't really go into all that right now. All right, so next we have our emotional or astral body, which is also known as, I believe, the psychic or the dream body. Now, it's symbolized by water because it's connected to emotions, empathy, and intuition. And also because water flows and takes the shape of its vessel, okay? And so too does this body. It flows and picks up impurities everywhere it goes, just like water. So I'm going to take some of these bracelets off because they're annoying the shit out of me, clicking and clacking. I apologize if it was annoying you too. So yeah, so it's the same with this body as it is with water. It's very, very similar to water and has similar properties, right? Now for empaths, this is the body connected to empathy, as I mentioned. And empathy can be a blessing or a curse. right? I'm sure some of you will attest to that. When we are in our power and able to control that empathy, it really is a blessing. But when we've not done the soul work, when it's out of control, excuse me, it really can be a curse, harmful, detrimental to us and others around us. We're going to take on the feelings of others when we haven't done this work, and we're not on top of our spiritual hygiene as well. And it's just, we're going to be overwhelmed and just affected everywhere we go, especially shopping centers, one of my most hated places to be. But yeah, we can also be easily affected. Yeah, Lisa. Yep. Yeah. And I think, and the thing is, no matter how on top of it we are, there's always going to be a little bit of that. Like it just goes with the territory. But, you know, do your best to clear, protect, have firm boundaries, and be in your power, and it will be significantly less, right? But you can also be affected by things, yeah, no worries, Trey, I love you, like Wi-Fi, phones, electric cars, pollution, computers, basically all of the things that we are surrounded with every day, wherever we go. And when we're not keeping up with the soul work and the spiritual work, it will make us sick. So, you know, again. All right, so a good way of cleansing this body is ritual baths, bathing, either in a bathtub with salt and herbs and rosemary, again, charge, bless the herbs, or in a shower, or you can even just do a foot bath. Yep. Yeah, and invisible cloaks or black cloaks when you go out. That's, yeah, I often do that when I'm going to places like cities and things like that. So again, my favorite herbs to use for ritual bath, the lavender and rosemary with some sea salt. Sea salt itself is cleansing and grounding and purifying. It draws out those impurities, right? Now, when we're cleansing the emotional body, that's also going to be cleansing the etheric and physical body. It sort of works in, right? So it's going to draw out all those impurities and neutralize them. So this is driving me mad. Usually my nose gets blocked. It's one of my, like we figured out, Carney and I are both air signs, right? So when there's a lot of energy, we burp like crazy and it affects my nose. I either get a blocked nose or a runny nose. And I never knew why until the other day when we figured out we're air signs. So that's how it's going to affect us. But anyway, I do apologize for that. Yeah, so when you're in the bath, you've cleansed you've charged your herbs. Again, ask for it to draw out the impurities, to neutralize them. Use your visualization, use it. Like if you can engage all of your subtle senses and your physical senses as much as possible, it's going to amplify that power, right? Sort of like mindfulness. What can you see, hear, smell, taste, feel, right? Just try and incorporate as much of that as you possibly can, right? My fire sign psychic friend sneezes when spirit enters. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's interesting. Like it's funny, you know, and some people have problems like with their waters. Like it's amazing. Yeah, so when you're in the bath, again, ask for it to be drawn out. Pull the plug out while you are in the bath. Stay in the bath, remove the plug so that it's pulling that water and pulling it all out of you and going down the bath. Then you can rinse yourself off, jump in and have a shower if there's any residue, whatever, wash it off. but make sure you pull the plug out first. If you're doing it in the shower, I'll use my dirty tissue to demonstrate, but just put your herbs in some fabric or a little bag and hang it on the shower head and let the water run through it. Yeah. Yeah. I think Lisa, you've done that. Will you do that? Yep. So there's always ways. Work with what you have. Okay. Another great thing for this body is sprays and floral waters and oils and things like that. Now, I won't go into how to make those here. In my 6-week course, we will be going into that. I have Julie, the Rich Witch, coming to talk about aromatherapy and using oils and hydrosols. Lisa, you love hydro, they're beautiful as well. So if you want to learn about that, we can talk about that. Now, any questions before I go on? No, we are good. All right, cool. So we have our other bodies. Now, our spiritual and our mental body, these ones are pretty full on. Our mental body, when we're picking things up in this body, it's going to affect us mentally. It's really going to be getting in our head, right? So you really want to be on top of it. And if you've noticed so far, the bodies I've gone through have connected with an element. So this one will connect with air, right? Being the mental. So any kind of ways that you can cleanse using the air, sound is fantastic. This guy here is my go-to, as well as bowls. There was someone here who mentioned that they used singing bowls for clearing energy. Music, movement, your voice, all these kinds of things. Again, smoke. Yep. Clapping. Yep, exactly. So anything that you can do to break up that energy and move it on. Okay. Now I could, chimes, exactly, Jason. I could seriously list off so many things, but I don't think that we need to go into every technique right now. Again, if you want to learn more, come and check out the 6-week program. But one thing I do want to touch on is crystals. Who loves their crystals? Yeah. All right, awesome. So using crystals for clearing and protecting is one of my favorite ways of doing it. Whether it be the selenite, there we go, there's a nice piece of selenite. Using that to clear your energy field, wearing it on you, laying yourself in a grid, having a bath with crystals, whatever it is. Selenite will literally move pain. I used that the other day when I had the migraine, Carney, that like you with the tower. Was it the tower? Yeah. Yep. So blue apple, like so many crystals are amazing. Now, if you follow me on my socials on TikTok, I've posted a little grid / spell using selenite, obsidian, and clear quartz. That is my go-to protection grid. It is so easy, and I have them all over my house. And that's probably what I sell the most of. It is selenite, like I'll use this, just a piece of selenite with an obsidian tower and then 3 clear quartz points. all connected, right? So it is protecting, it is pulling the energy in, but it's also sending that clearing energy out. And the selenite is keeping it cleansed. It's like a self-charging battery, just keeps going, right? So it's so good for lazy people like me who forget to charge their crystals. It is perfect. So, and if you do want one of those kits, let me know. I think I do have a few left. But yeah, so I'm going to jump to cord cutting because I'm, already going over time as we are, and I don't want to overwhelm you too much. But who has heard a little bit about or done some cord cutting before? Lisa, yep. Carney, Tiffany, yep. Awesome. So I've recently had a few people come to me asking about this because they've seen some TikToks. Now, lighting 2 candles with a piece of string tied together and burning them, that's not going to cut your cords. I'm sorry. It is so much more than that. It goes so much deeper. And in fact, it's not even really cutting. It's more cauterizing, like there is some cutting, but it's not as simple as what they like to make out. Now, I know, they only have a certain amount of time. They can only show so much, but not giving enough information is almost as dangerous sometimes as giving misinformation. So what are energy cords or energy strands? They are the invisible filaments or strands that will tie us with people, places, events, items, animals, ancestors, past lives. Like there are so many different kinds of energy strands or cords, and each of them are a little different, but they're all sort of the same basic concept. Okay, now when we are connected to someone, I'll use a partner, for example. We will, Carney teaches this. So after I share this bit, Carney, if you want to add a little bit, or Lisa, you're more than welcome to share as well. You're going to be connected. Now, often these cords or strands will be connected to a major energy center or chakra. They can be connected elsewhere, but depending on where they are connected will depend on how they affect us and how hard they are to get rid of. And funnily enough, cords that are bound by and fed by hatred are a lot bigger, thicker, stronger than those that are fed by love. Because hatred is so powerful and all-encompassing, it just constantly reinforces it. So every time you get angry, every time you think about that person, you're feeding it, you're strengthening it, right? And it's through these cords that we can often curse each other easily without even knowing, or suck the energy out of another person, or give them our energy. If we're obsessing about someone, hating on them, we're giving them our energy. You don't want to be doing that, all right? And that's why so many people preach about forgiveness and letting go. It's not about the other person, fuck them. It's about us, our well-being, our sovereignty, and our strength. Lisa. Right? So, yeah, I love you, Lisa. You're so cool. Cut those damn cords, right? It's easier said than done, though. as I said. And a lot of the time, it's more than just a ritual to cut and cauterize. Often you will find that we are connected in numerous places for numerous reasons. And that really takes a lot of inner work, soul work, shadow work in order to fully remove them. Because you can go through the ritual, but not, beautiful Tiffany, but not fully do that work, fully heal and let go. As soon as you think about them again, as soon as you talk about them, as soon as you bring up those emotions, guess what? That cord's come straight back. All right. You can have a cord that is so shriveled up and dried out and ready to fall off, and then find a photo of that person or see that person or speak to them or find them on social media, and straight away it's fed again, it's replenished, it's rehydrated, and it's affecting you again. So you have to go through the process of healing and letting go properly. As Carney said here, sometimes people go through the ritual too, but they don't actually want the ties completely severed and snapped. Yep, exactly. Of course. You know, like, you have to want that. And the only way that you're ever going to be truly ready is by doing that inner work. Now, what does Tiffany say? I've been using the tapping technique. Yes, you know, EFT is fantastic, especially when combined with some other techniques, such as, like, do you use EFT as well in what you do, Carney? Do you combine? Yeah, I thought you might. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, so when we are cutting or cauterizing these cords, you need to be able to tune in to you and feel where they are, what is feeding them, and you know how many there are. Is there just one? Is there one in your heart? Is there one in your root chakra, your throat chakra? Are they all over you? Are you wrapped in a little cocoon? Right? You need to be able to feel in, and to do that, we need to go through the whole self-awareness, self-actualization process. I teach what's called the home frequency, which I learned from some amazing authors, Christopher Pensack, Devin Hunter, Matt Oren, who I believe your cohorts with Lisa or associates. Yeah, now the way that I do it, I've altered it slightly, but it's just, oh yeah, I do too, Lisa. He what did you say? Beautiful, that's awesome. So you're forever connected. That's fantastic. He yeah, gave me permission to use his books as textbooks for my courses as well back in the early days. Yeah, so the way I teach it, it's basically feeling into your true frequency, your energy, and that's what they teach, right? It's clearing out anything that doesn't belong to you so that you can feel what you're meant to be on your own, your pure energy, without any interference. When you know that and you can feel that, straight away you're going to know, oh shit, that shouldn't be there. Oh, what's this guy doing? He's trying to cord with, like, you're onto it, and you can get onto it and eliminate it straight away, right? So you need to be able to feel in and know where they are so you can get rid of them. And you're going to go through a process of clearing and cutting, right? But if you want to do a really simple technique, temporary but effective, at least to some degree, Carney will probably like to add on to this one, working with Archangel Michael to sever the cords or the ties that are causing you harm in this moment, right? I did it just before coming on here to remove anything that was going to block me, stop me from being able to connect with you lovely people, stop me from giving my all, or, you know, any other kind of harm. Okay, just call him in however you want to do that. You can incorporate it with the protective pillar and just ask him to send down a protective pillar of light to surround you, protect you, and purify your energy field, severing any cords and ties that are connected to you and not for your highest good. And as you're sitting there feeling that coming down, I see it as a silver, like moonlight, coming down, surrounding me in a big tube, going down into the earth. And as it does, it's burning away anything harmful in the space, right? Now, it will go with you wherever you go, but it won't last. You can keep bringing it in, right? But it's a band-aid. You can use it as long as you want to, but you're best off doing it properly and clearing the things properly for once and for all, then using it as well as, not just instead of, if that makes sense. Before I go on, do Kani or Lisa want to add anything? You start, Kani, and then go.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I've used Archangel Michael a couple of times very effectively, often in situations when I haven't really been aware of what the outcome will be, because I do like to experiment with energy a little bit. Once I'm a school teacher, been a school teacher for 40 years, and once I was in a playground where I heard there was a fight going down between two boys, and I literally wasn't able to get there in time. So I just called out in my own head, Archangel Michael, can you just go ahead and separate these two? By the time I got there, they were in different directions, walking away from each other. So sometimes it can be as simple as intention like that. But one of the most amazing experiences I had with Archangel Michael was when my son moved back home and I moved into my walk-in robe, all of my photographs, and there was boxes and boxes and boxes of them. And most of them were from my married days. I'd been separated and divorced by that stage, and I couldn't sleep, and I had no awareness of what was going down, kept waking up in the middle of the night. All the energy of the photos was affecting me. And so I got up and went out into the chair and just spoke to Archangel Michael and said, what's going down? And he said it was the photographs. So I asked him to attach a vacuum cleaner to the top of my head, and he sucked out all of the energy, and it was like this black sludge. It went for 2 hours. I was hiccuping, I was burping, it just didn't stop for 2 hours non-stop. And then I was told to put amethyst crystal around all of the photos. Never had another moment's problem. And those photographs were in there for 2 years afterwards. So yeah, he's amazing to work with. Thank you.
Thank you. You want to share, Lisa? You don't want to share anything, Lisa? Okay. There you go.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I obviously don't speak on Zoom very often. It's fine.
You're
But
right.
what I was also going to say was that Archangel Michael's sword comes in a blue color for me, but I guess it's close enough to silver. I'm sure that it's just a visual. Anyway, that's completely fine. But what I also like to do is work with Saint Germain's violet flame, like afterward. So once the things are cut, there's still the cord that has to go back to either source or to the person that sent it, or to the you know, to the recycling bin, whatever spirit is going to do with it. And then there's a part that's in us that needs to heal, because it's like a trauma imprint that it could be recorded again unless we dissolve it. So I like to work with the violet flame energy, because that it like restores everything to original like light and form that we can access and do other things with, instead of keeping that that trauma imprint for it to just keep getting reactivated every time that something happens. I also wanted to talk to you about, like, when you start like doing all of these layers of things, and the thing that you talked about, like where all the energies come to you because they're like, what's going on? Right? Before you start doing that, it is a good idea to put on the Harry Potter invisible cloak before you do this stuff, to keep that shit away.
Yeah.
Because when you are just getting to a place of like starting to figure this out, you don't need the interference. It's like moths all coming to the light, like when you flick it on at night, you know, like you don't need this extra stuff when you already are inundated with everything that you've been dealing with that you haven't like been cleansing yet. So I just wanted to tell you, like, to do that first before you ground to the earth, you know, get the earth energy, get the sky energy, get all your chakras cleared out, get all of you know, like all of the stuff. Have that invisible cloak around you so that they can't figure out what's going on around you, and that they don't see. Alternatively, if you can't figure out how to do an invisible cloak, what you can do is make a cloak that looks like what you look like now, so that it doesn't alert them. So just say, make an identical cloak that I look like right now, cover my area here, and make it shine out, and then the light, you know, everything else can be inside with you. You can bring in Saint Germain's flame. You can bring in everything into your workspace. And then afterward, what I like to do in order to protect as much as possible, you know, to hold the energy in place as long as possible, I like to then put if you will, like an auric layer around like my egg shape layer, and make like a Teflon coating, okay, so that everything that comes at me that's residual energy just slides right off and around me, you know, as much as possible. Again, it's not permanent.
Yeah.
It's just like washing your dishes. You gotta, and then you eat again, you gotta wash your dishes again, right? So it's something that, but it does help me not have to do it as much or as often, or without as much interference as you would get when you're doing it. Now, once you get to a place where you're doing it daily, like I think it just gets easier, and the spirits are like, whatever, she's gonna clear herself, you know, like they're bored at that point, because they can't screw with you.
Yeah.
But it's when you're first starting that they can really cause some havoc. I also wanted to tell people that the most common places that are corded are usually the solar plexus, because that's our place of personal power. So if you want to start at a place, that's usually the best one. And somebody else here was talking earlier about being sick to their stomach. That's the area where the solar plexus is. And oftentimes that's where people, like, you know, they want to steal your power. That's exactly where you're going to feel it. If you feel like throwing up, if you feel like somebody punched you, yeah, chances are it's your solar plexus that they're after. And so, you know, you can start with that one. You can also, like, if you have the third eye because somebody's trying to hide something from you, you can also work with your third eye too. Also, the back of your head, some entities will come in through the back of your head because they want to control like what you see, like what you're thinking and things like that. So you want to cut like behind, you know, like at the place like right there. You know, like you want to get rid of that stuff too.
Yeah.
I think that that's it for now.
Oh, thank you so much. That was
Okay.
awesome. And you've covered some of the things for me now, so thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to say for people that are doing like a first timer that have never cleaned their energy before, oh man, you're so right about that. Like all the icky stuff is like, hey, wait a minute, because they're on high alert because they've been using that person for food and for energy for a really long time. And when they are at risk of losing it, land, they'll go balls out, you know, trying to stay. And they will come after you for helping that person. So then you have to do like a ton of your own protection. So because, you know, many of us already have our cloaks and all of that stuff, we need to do something similar for the person that we're doing that with so that they don't get the reverberation. And then protecting it like so it can stay for a little while so that they can start healing and getting used to what that feels like. And then as they practice, it gets stronger and stronger. And then they have their own energy systems. And then your temporary shield can fall away. And it doesn't matter because they've already by then, hopefully, have learned how to make their own. And through source energy and whatnot. So, yeah.
That's a great point. Thank you. Connie, what were you?
I'll go ahead and mute myself.
Thank you, Lisa. Sorry, I will go to you in a sec, Connie. Do you want to share the link to your books and your website and stuff as well in the chat for people? Go, Connie.
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you so much for that, Lisa. That's actually helped me answer a question that I'd had. So I was working with a client who kept recreating a person who was incredibly psychic attacking. So we'd worked with the mother, we then went on to working with the person themselves, and she kept getting this synchronistic alignment all the time of being aware that this person was still, you know, tapping at the toes of the edges. That violet flame would have absolutely made a massive difference because what she was actually doing was when she was great for a couple of days, and then she would say, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from them anymore. I wonder what's going on. Why haven't I heard from them? I better check my emails and see if there's anything going down there. So she was literally inviting them back in, but the violet flame would have taken it right back to that pure clean slate, and it wouldn't have been as possible. So I'm going to be using that technique now. Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, that was perfect. Thank you, Lisa. I actually meant to mention that one. That was one of the exercises I had in here, but I took it out. I probably should have left that one in because it really is amazing. So yeah, do look that one up, or I'm sure that we could put together a little PDF for people here to, yeah. Awesome. Thank you both so much. Yeah, like you're amazing and I love you both. And Lisa's covered some of the things that I was going to mention, so I'm grateful for that. Thank you. So do you want to do a quick little walkthrough of a shield with me before we go? Oh no, it's all good. Also hopefully I've done it right. I didn't have my Tech Witch D here to help me, but I think I've got the AI, what's it called? The note taker thing up. So hopefully we will have a transcript of this for you all afterwards, as well as the replay. All right. Actually, before I do that, there are two things that I highly recommend more as you progress. The lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram. Must learn, must master for any witch, magician, spiritual worker, healer, psychic. A must learn, even if you simplify it. All right, this is one of the things, this is foundational to my programs. Like it's a must. And the IOB, which Carney has been using a bit lately as well. It's for getting rid of and banishing curses, attacks. So it's identify, objectify, banish, right? There is a bit of a process, but I'm going to teach you part of it to help you identify if you are in fact being attacked and which direction it's coming from, so that you can narrow it down a little bit and block that fucker. All right. So first, of course, you would breathe, center yourself, calling in all of your scattered energy from throughout your fields, calling in your energy that has been taken, left behind, stolen, scattered through all times, places, spaces, lifetimes, and bringing that all into your center, whether that be around your solar plexus or your heart. Just calling it in as you're continuing to breathe. And just feeling into your own body, your own energy. Breathing. And just take notice of how you feel right now. Ask your higher self to block the sensations of any attachments, cords, or energies that do not belong to you, so that you can feel your own pure essence. Just feel that for a moment. Now, opening your eyes, you're going to make a triangle with your hands, okay? This is the triangle of manifestation. But what you're going to do is you're going to, now you can, I won't stand up because you won't see me, but when you're doing this, you will stand up, you'll close your eyes again and slowly turn around. Now, you can either do it clockwise or anti-clockwise, depending on your hemisphere, or just go with what you feel is right, okay? But you're just going to slowly turn and ask to feel where the attack is coming from, right? Now, I highly recommend doing what Lisa said and protecting yourself beforehand, so you're not taking anything else on. You just want to know where it's coming from, okay? You might need to go around a few times, but there will be a place. It might be colder or hotter. You might get a tingling. I often get, it's like a tingling, burning feeling, right? Then you're going to know, all right, it's coming from this direction. You might automatically know, oh, shit, that's where so-and-so is, right? That's your attacker, okay? Or just knowing that direction. This is where you're going to then, all right, I'm going to have to stand up for this. Sorry. Ugh. Right. Once you've identified it, you're going to forcefully step forward with your left foot as you push out and project your energy forward, sending that attack away like this. Right, like forcefully. So as you're doing it, you can use your breath as well, and you're pushing that energy away as forcefully as you can, right? Then you will put your shields in place, pull down the blind, however you do that, okay? Now, the protection that I will use daily. Okay. Now, obviously, you need to protect yourself from other people's energy and yucky stuff. But at the same time, you want to be able to receive and connect with the good energies and love and, you know, abundance and gifts and all of the wonderful things that the universe has to offer, right? But the way that many people are taught to shield blocks everything, right? And it will completely cut you off from being able to connect with people. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes you need that. Like if you're doing some magic or something, like you don't want any other influence coming in other than what's going to help you. But under normal circumstances, you want to be able to connect with people. You want to be able to receive what is good for you, right? So instead, you're going to create a filter, okay? Now, this is going to allow in healthy, helpful, loving exchanges of energies out and in. Because when we're shielding and it's just a solid shield, we also can't send anything to others. We can't heal, we can't send love, right? So I do this, I create a shimmering net or a web, like a massive, big, glittery strainer. Right? It's always got to be glittery. I'm a raven. I need sparkly things. That's just how I roll. Okay. But it's going to catch any of that dense, harmful energy. Gosma, yes. And it's going to neutralize it. Okay. It's going to catch it, neutralize it, send it away. Okay. Because energy can't be destroyed. It just gets changed. So we can neutralize it and then it can be reused for something good, right? And it's the same as when we're grounding and filtering our energy out into the earth, we're asking that it be neutralized and reused to heal the earth or be, you know, when we need it for our magic or whatever, okay? So you're going to do, that's how you're going to do your shields from now on, okay? You're going to create that beautiful strainer, that web, that net. It's going to allow the good in and it's going to catch anything bad and bounce it off. Or, you know, like Lisa said, Teflon, it just rolls straight off, okay? Now, one last thing I want to teach you. I don't know if it was Christopher or Matt Oren. I think it was Christopher, the total health clearance. Not sure, but anyway, a way to quickly cleanse your energy field. Wherever you are, you don't need any tools, anything, right? So activate your palms, your palm chakras. Get that energy flowing. Okay. Now, I like to see my energy shooting out of my hands, sort of like a water hose, right? And you're sweeping it down over your aura and out. And you're seeing that energy pouring and washing your aura, okay? Both sides and the back. And as Lisa said, that back part is very important. I have been attacked there on numerous occasions, right? Sometimes it's hard to get the back of you. So I actually state that what I do to the front happens to the back. So like a mirror, right? So it's both, okay? Clear it all the way down to your feet. Then shake it off and stomp your feet so that you're sort of regrounding, reconnecting, and then bring the energy back in. If you do this at the start and the end of each day, you will notice a big difference. And the more you do it, the easier it will be. Sometimes you will be able to just do a once over and done, right? That, the shield, the cloak, as Lisa mentioned, the violet flame, and the Pillar of Light from Archangel Michael are my 5 most simple and highly recommended tools to use. Of course, with the smoke baths, cleansing baths, cleansing showers. Okay. I'll take a breath. Now, any questions, any comments? Now is your chance to pick my brains, whatever you need. I am at your service. You are so welcome, Lisa. Thank you. And thank you for your help. It was fantastic. Did you have something you wanted to say, Dee? Did you just unmute?
Yes.
Yep.
I just wanted to quickly touch on like the cord cutting stuff that we spoke about. And just like kind of really reiterate that like it is like a multi-layered thing, and that, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to deal with, like, and also that, you know, sometimes people don't realize, because I'm a tech witch or digital witch, there's also like our digital cord as well that a lot of people don't really think about. And so for me personally, that's usually one of the first cords that I'll start cutting when I'm ready to release that and let go. It's usually that one, because that's one of the easiest, but also one of the longest, because it's just deleting that any kind of link. So it's like removing photos or friendships, or to an extent, obviously. But yeah, like that's also another element to consider as well.
Oh, absolutely. And that's such a good point, Dee. Yeah, social media cords and tech cords are a big thing. And one point on the cord cutting, you can cut cords without cutting a relationship. I had to cut cords with my mum because there was a harmful exchange there. Like, we were feeding off each other's, I don't like to use the words negativity, and that's another thing I wanted to touch on. Try to avoid using the words negative and positive energy, because they have different meanings energetically. Negative ions are good for us, positive ions are bad for us. So try and use harmful, unhelpful, and helpful instead of negative, positive. But yeah, you can cut cords with people, stop that harmful exchange of energy without cutting that off the relationship. There's a difference there. Yeah, codependency. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, Lisa. Like, you know, my mum and I, we were best friends, but then she got addicted to stress and toxicity. She was quite toxic. Still loved each other dearly, but yeah, like we had to cut that. And it was actually when she got cancer and was dying that we rekindled that bond again that we had, and she let go of all of the bullshit, you know. Were you going to say something, Tiffany?
No, I'm fine right now, I think.
All right. No worries.
I had.
Awesome. But yeah, so thank you all for joining me. As I mentioned, I do have a 6-week program coming up, which really goes deep into all of this. Carney and Dee can attest to my programs. Obviously, I sort of fire hosed you today and just gave you as much information as possible, but you know, information is great, but it's the implementation, the coaching, and the personal assistance that really makes the difference. And so that is launching properly today. And for any of you here, and for any of the people watching the replay, I'm taking $222 off. So you can enroll for only $444. And that will be valid for the next 4 days, going all in on the 4s. So if you're interested, do get in touch with me. I can work out payment plans if you need that. But if you feel this is something you do need in your life, I highly recommend jumping on that. Oops. All
You have
right.
a question.
What was that?
I do have a question, actually.
Oh, yes, darling.
Okay, recently I've had like a spiritual alignment, a huge awakening. I can see everything as it is, and I'm understanding to get to my higher self, I have to go ahead and let things go. And that's when I start, the tapping and all that stuff to refocus and recenter. And I'm learning all this and embracing it all, but it just seems like it's almost so overwhelming because it's all happened at one time. And I really don't know what to do with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, makes total sense. You are definitely not alone there. Honestly, you can ask your team to slow things down a little bit for you if you need to. Generally, they are not going to give us anything we can't handle. But if you really need, just give me a day, just slow it down a little bit, you can ask for that. But keeping up with like the things we talked about today, and meditation, like proper transcendental meditation, not guided meditation,
Do that a lot. However, I'm having more issues with my angel numbers and synchronicities, and it's just getting to be to where I really don't even want to leave the house now, if that makes sense.
yeah. Are you able to elaborate a little bit more what you mean? Like you're just seeing them a lot more, or?
Yeah, they're more common and they're everywhere now. They were just subtle, and now they're everywhere.
Yeah.
It's
So,
like it's being like a magnet. I feel like I've somehow become a magnet, and people, I don't know why they're coming to me, but they're coming to me, and I don't know how to embrace everybody the right way.
yeah.
And that's where I'm struggling right now.
Yeah, that definitely can be overwhelming. It's not always healthy for us to have to embrace everyone. Carney and myself, and I'm sure many others here will identify with that, the savior caretaker archetype, the needing to rescue people, help people all the time. But really it's unhealthy, and it's something within us that's missing. It's a soul hole. We
Right.
felt we needed to be saved at one point, and so we're saving others. I'm going to let Carney talk a little bit more to this, because I've got a feeling that she's got something important to.
Thank you.
I'd love to know what that is.
I don't know. I was just looking at you and being told.
Okay.
that's
So
fine.
so my my first question that I heard to ask was whether you're a big picture thinker. But before I go there, do you know which Claire you're dominant with? Like, are you clairsentient? Do you feel stuff? Do you hear stuff? Do you see stuff?
I feel, see, and hear.
Okay, so you got three things going on at once. Is there a predominant archangel that you work with?
No.
Okay, so the archangels are actually at the 8th level as far as the angels are concerned. There are 7 other levels that are higher above them. The reason they're at the 8th is because they're the ones that are kind of closer to our understandings. They find it easier to work with the earth realms because they have a deeper understanding of our personality. I would be choosing one of those to begin with, and I'd probably start with Archangel Michael, because you can clear so much energy with him as well, and begin tapping into him on a daily basis and asking him, is it in your best interest to be communicating with this person? Is there something that you need to learn from this person? Is there something that you're able to give them? Because if you've got 3 clears going on at once and you haven't really got mastery of any of them, then you're going to be, you're going to have information and be like a shining light to so many. It is going to be overwhelming to you, completely overwhelming.
That's been already.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's been extremely overwhelming because I'm kind of used to everyone just leaving me alone. And now it's like they're all just coming at me. And
Yeah.
it's not in a bad way, it's all
No,
positive.
no.
And it's wonderful, but it's overwhelming.
But you're one person and you can't split
Yeah.
yourself into two
Yeah.
directions. So then you
Yes.
have some discernment that kicks in that says, who is it in my best interest to be communicating with? Who is it best for me to be working with? I've already seen from the conversation that you had with Rose before that you've got incredible compassion and incredible empathy. So does not surprise me at all that people are saying, yeah, I want a little piece of you, not surprising remotely. But for your own health and well-being, you're going to have to make sure that you channel who it is that you work with, because otherwise, I know when I first began, and that was 23 years ago, but when I first began reading, I was reading for 14 hours a day and not able to sleep because my third eye just wouldn't shut down. And at that point, you got to look at it and say, okay, well, where's the balance in my life? I had an 8-year-old at the time, like he was getting none of me, but I was having a wonderful time, being out there and working with other people. And, there has to be balance in life. So the psychic clearing things that Ali has spoken about will help heaps. But I'd even be checking in the morning and just asking, what are my priorities for the day? Can you shine a spotlight on what it is I need to be working with? Rather than sending me, 2 billion people on this one day, send me some people who might just need some words of encouragement. So, make it easy. So if you connect and ask for what you actually need, you'll be given that. But, obviously the floodgates have opened and your light's on really brightly, and there are many, many who are recognizing that light. When I go to the supermarket, that happens to me, and my son will say to me, because I'll have people who come up to me and talk about just having had a miscarriage or just having had a suicide, and my son will go, what is it with you? Like these people you don't even know just come and have these really deep, meaningful conversations that they wouldn't tell anyone. And I said, well, they recognize that there's that capacity to hold space. So I'd be thanking whichever archangel it is you choose with. Michael, it'd be great to begin with. And just saying, thank you for giving me the tools, or thank you for helping me understand that I can hold space for people, that people recognize I can hold space. But as Ali said, you got to slow it down a little bit. And these are the boundaries that I want you to put in place. I only want to be talking with people who, have this thing going on at the moment. And if you've had some big stuff go on in your life as well, like you spoke about a really deep grief there as well, you're going to call in people who are on that vibration, because you can empathize and you can understand. You've lived it. They're not going to go to someone who doesn't get it. They're going to find that synchronistic alignment within you. Yeah.
Yes.
Does that make
So,
sense? I don't know.
it all makes no, it's perfect, because that's exactly what's been going on. And and I tell them, I'm not looking for a physical connection or an emotional or romantic connection, but I am looking for a friendly connection.
Yeah.
And they're coming out of everywhere. I mean,
Yeah.
everywhere. And they're all telling me personal things. Like, I used to have a drug problem. I used to be an alcoholic. Things they wouldn't normally tell people, I am hearing. They're telling me. And I'm trying to embrace that. But it's just, I've got so many. And each day, it's more and more.
Yeah.
So it's going to be kind of overwhelming.
Yeah. And I'd even be saying to Archangel Michael, clearly this is work you're meant to be doing. Thank you for showing me that this is where my higher soul needs to be working. But, it's too overwhelming for me at the moment. You're going to have to slow it down into a capacity that I can actually integrate it and absorb it. Because, if you're overwhelmed, you're going to end up scattered. And then not only will you not be able to help those people, but you're going to collapse in a heap and burn out. You can't do that to yourself. What they say the 3 relationships are: connection with the divine, fill your own cup first, and then others and everyone else. And we get those 3 relationships so confused all the time. But if we're not tapping into the battery, then we can't sustain ourselves to fill our own cup.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
You're welcome, Duff. You're welcome.
you.
Ellie, I've actually got a free Archangel Michael
Oh, meditation.
meditation if Tiffany would like me to send it to her too.
Yes,
Yeah.
I love that.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Carney. That's, yeah, I definitely second that as well. Like, as Carney said, she's been the same. I was always the same as well. And that's sort of why I first started psychology and counseling, and then other forms of healing and psychic reading, and, you know, all these different things. I never stuck with anything, believed I was a quitter, but then realized, no, I needed pieces of all of those things to come here and do this, what I'm doing now, because I use all of it to help people. And you're obviously meant to be helping people, you know, and doing that, whether it's in alcohol and other drugs work, counseling, coaching, this kind of work. But yeah, make sure that, as Carney said, you're connecting with the divine and filling your own cup, doing your own work first, and setting strong boundaries. You know, like, we can't save people. This is a hard lesson that, like, I'm still trying to learn properly. You know, you can only help people who are willing to help themselves, and the majority of people want to be saved. They don't want to do anything themselves. They want you to do the work for them. So yeah, just make sure that they're putting skin in the game as well. But you're a beautiful human, and yeah, I think you've got a lot to offer the world. All right, awesome. Is there anybody else has any questions, or are we good to go? We good? Awesome.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful to meet you all you ladies. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. It's wonderful to meet you too. All of you, thank you all so much for coming and joining me. I will pop the replay up on a page. What's Lisa there? I've learned that I need to change my vibration. Yeah. Yep, that's exactly right. And that's what it comes down to, our vibrational frequency. Like attracts like. You know, we are going to attract people who are a vibrational match to us. When we raise our vibration, we attract people of that vibration as well. You know, but I think all of us who are here, we're always going to be healers at heart. We love, we care, and we want to make the world a better place, right? So awesome. Thank you all so much. Love you all. Mwah. Sending
Thank you,
you all
everybody.
love. I'll keep the chat open.